Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Addicted Loot Podcast, episode 52, which probably should have been our actual 1 year, but who cares? It's episode 52. Welcome to Addicted Loot. We are a upbeat, entertaining, laid-back, chill-fest gaming podcast.
We're an upbeat, laid-back conglomerate.
I'm trying to get in as many buzzwords as I can to hook people in at the very first minute.
An immersive...
immersive
open world
sandbox MMO, open world FPS, competitive MOBA.
We're on the bleeding edge of podcasting.
Everything. No, but we are Addicted to Loot. We are a gaming conglomerate, as we like to call ourselves. We primarily focus on this lovely podcast, but also our website, which is addictedloot.com. We do Twitch streams, we do YouTube videos, and all sorts of stuff, and we basically live on Twitter. So please come join us for everything. But if you're here, obviously it is for our awesome podcast, which we usually do. We go over news, we go over what we've been playing this week, and also we give out our free game of the week, meaning it's a game that's free that we want you to go play. As opposed to last week, which was our actual free game of the week, we actually did a cool little giveaway with Solaroids, which is a game we covered probably for a week or two on here. I Twitch streamed, did a few YouTube videos on it. We got really buddy-buddy with Chad Yates, who was the developer for it. So it was really awesome to pair up with him to do a big giveaway for our 1 year.
Thank you, Chad.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. For our 1 year podcast. And if you haven't heard it, go check it out. We actually did our top 5 personal ranked games of all time.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It was incredible. It was just a fun trip down memory lane. It was really incredible. Also, we talked about, doing VR for the first time and all sorts of other stuff. So it is a really good podcast. If you haven't heard about it, or if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. So, we actually did give out 4 Steam codes for Solaroids on Twitter. So, if you want to go to our Addicted to Loot Twitter, you can actually see the winners. I didn't recognize any of the names personally, but I wrote them all. They all say the codes work, so awesome. And the one guy who entered by email actually got his name pulled, so I was like, yes!
Oh, that's funny. Really?
I was like, yes! The one person.
Good job.
I was really hoping, I'm like, oh, it's going to be sad for the one guy who followed the original rules. He didn't get it. I'm like, yes, he got it. Okay.
I can say now because it's all over with, but I would have given it to him anyway.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, you get one of them because you're the only person who did the original,
Well, because we went on for a week, we're like, okay, just email us to enter because we wanted to keep track of it, and it's the easiest way to keep track of. Nothing. Desert. Nobody, just tumbleweeds and crickets everywhere, and then all of a sudden it's like, screw it. One day I'm like, okay, how about retweet to enter?
yeah.
Oh, you mean I can do this just from the toilet? Click, yay!
I mean, to be fair, that's literally how I got my copy of Everspace.
So, very good point. So
that's actually happened.
But thank you all who entered it and all who paid attention to our podcast or even our Twitter stream. So thank you very much for that.
Just a heads up to everyone, it is apparently thundering like crazy outside, so if I disappear...
You must have been getting what I already had, because I actually was about to write you...
Oh, is it coming up north?
I don't know if I'm going to make it tonight, but yeah. So
if your power stayed on, that's good.
If Tom drops out, we will just go through the schedule as per usual, and if we can get him back on, great. But we'll just go on as if nothing's going to happen. So... Since we are both kind of sweating in our rooms right now...
Tom suddenly has no opinions on anything for the rest of the episode.
I can say whatever I want.
Wow, I hate Dragon Age!
I like Dragon...
Come clawing up from...
I like Origins, just not any of the others.
That's fine.
Games.
Passable opinion.
But anyway, we are both sweating in our rooms right now, so it is summer, and with summer comes Overwatch Summer Games.
Woo! I am so glad they're bringing this back.
Which is, it's either currently going on or it will be going on.
I think it just started because I went to reinstall Overwatch and all the promo stuff was like Zarya going like this with the, her summer game stuff. So what's interesting is last year it was really tied in with the Rio Olympics.
Yes, exactly.
And I guess they're still selling like the skins from it. What's really cool now, Overwatch sells custom, event skins, which frustrated me last year. There were, event-only skins like Mercy's Witch one, for example, which if you didn't get it from a drop from the event, okay, sorry, that was the Halloween event. But now, I think it was with the Chinese New Year one earlier this year, they started making it so you can buy event-specific skins with credits. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's watching or listening.
I believe that's correct, or they do kind of loop around eventually.
And I think that they've started doing that just for everything. I know that they're doing that now, which is really cool. But what I am absolutely the happiest about is that Lucio Ball is back, baby. That is
we're bringing back I Love Lucy? Yes.
I'm so scared I'm going to get zapped by lightning right now because this is just like erupting in that field out there.
Which is funny.
Lightning is erupting from the sky. But yeah, Lucio Ball is so cool. Basically, Lucio Ball is Rocket League in Overwatch with Lucio's skill set.
It's basketball, right, basically?
Well, soccer, football.
For our UK
depending
friends
on,
out there.
I know we've got like a 50-50 US and UK audience, so let's just say football or English football. Lucio, obviously, he's got this cool little thing right here, which shoots out the wubs, and the wubs have impact, and so there's a giant soccer ball, and he hits it, and you're trying to get into the goal. It's 3 Lucios versus 3 Lucios, and his wall riding and crazy kind of speed, stuff, his Lucioism allows it to be this really fun, frantic thing. And I loved Lucio Ball so much. It was so
can
great.
you still do the speed boost as in Lucio Ball? Or do they take that out?
Oh, God, I can't remember, honestly.
It'd be fun.
Because you could switch between a speed boost and a health boost. And obviously you don't need a health boost.
I was going to say, can you actually attack? Can you take damage during it? I thought it was clearly just like...
Oh, my God, I can't remember. I'm so sorry.
Oh, come on. Where is it for you? Come on.
It's been literally a year. I can say that with confidence.
That's true.
But they brought that back, so that's
They brought that back. There's probably going to be a few skins and paint and just a few other
some new
promotional summer stuff.
Yeah.
As what comes with every single Overwatch event. So if you have Overwatch, you need a reason to play it. Here's probably a pretty good reason. And if you liked it last year, well, guess what? Same exact thing. So congrats.
Cool. I'm scared of getting zapped in my head or something.
Do you remember when we were in I think junior year when we were doing our PowerPoint presentations? Me, you, and Alec were in the very, very back of Mr. Koval's, those 3 computers. Focus. Remember that?
I'm listening. I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
And we had 2 headphones plugged into one jack through the extender. You and Alec were sharing one, and I had my own or something, or vice versa. And I just remember taking the cord and putting it on the computer screen because we had one of those old vacuum tubes that was covered in static. You took yours out, but Alec left his in. And he said that the whole side of his face was not... Do you remember that?
Yep.
I don't know why that just sprung to my head.
But great. That's something I want to remember right now.
He's just like... Oh, shit. Oh, God. Alec,
it was a shocking experience.
But, speaking of shocking, the Dota 2 International is actually underway. We actually, as of this podcast, which is August 2nd...
Happy August, everybody.
The open qualifiers and the main qualifiers are done, and the group stage has officially started. The main event will start on the 7th, so that is going to be next week, and the actual championship will be on Saturday the 12th, if you actually want to watch just the championship or anything else. If you want to get caught up on anything, or you want to watch it live, there's at least 2 or 3 different Twitch streams for the Dota International, actually through, Twitch/Dota International or whatever, or Dota Major or something like that.
Official as heck.
You can actually go back and rewatch every single match if you want to try to catch up and things like that. So you can actually pre-spoil it for yourself. You can I don't care about the matches. Tell me who won. And look at that, they won.
Are they still doing the thing where they had a beginner's stream where it was they were explaining everything as if you were, or a newcomer's stream, I guess?
Maybe.
I know they did that a while ago, but I don't know if they've done that since.
It doesn't sound familiar to me, but that doesn't mean that they haven't done it. Usually when I'm watching the International, I'm watching it like it's a football game. I'm sitting there with my popcorn just munching on it, be like... oh my God! Do you see that? He just killed. Oh my God! And screaming at this TV screen and things like that.
I'll do that with Games Done Quick, but with Dota and things like that. Even though I can follow them and get into the
hype.
The hype.
The excitement.
That's usually something that I leave on the screen, and it's just kind of if I hear the commentators' voices go up, it's okay, what's going on?
I actually usually go over to a friend's house and we'll put it up on the big TV. And,
that's awesome.
A bunch of us, just us, beer, Dota, food, just screaming at it, cheering, literally treating it like a football game or a
That's
football
funny.
game.
Football
yeah.
joke counter 2.
So I always have a great deal of fun with the international. So I'm hoping it's going to be a good one this year. There's a lot of I'm assuming the front runner is still there's a team that won 3 out of the 4 majors this year. I think it's either EG or OG, and I'm going to get it completely and utterly wrong.
Both of those sound like Dota teams.
No, it's not OG. What? Why are none of these teams looking familiar?
Oh
I'll-
newcomers! What an upset!
I'll figure it out later, but this just seems weird. But either way, I figured they would probably be the favorites to win everything. But I don't know. It's been surprising before, so it'd be interesting to see what exactly happens with it. So if you're interested in Dota International, go check it out. It is currently up and running.
Cool. Dota's cool.
Speaking of Dota, a game that Tom has been super excited for, actually covered on this podcast many moons ago.
Many moons ago.
Actually, it's been released and it's getting a really great reception, both critically and in the community. So, Tom, take it away.
Yeah, Tacoma is the latest title from Fulbright, who a lot of people probably know from Gone Home, Steve Gaynor's company there. Tacoma is out, and Tacoma, yeah, I think it was around Gamescom they released a trailer, which you put out like last fall, showing some of the gameplay of it, and basically, much like Gone Home, it's a walking simulator that you're on a space station. The space station is abandoned, but you can play back holographic recreations of of a span of time. And you know, there was a crew on the space station. It's sci-fi, but it's definitely as keeping with Fulbright's kind of style. It's more human drama sci-fi than like, you know, oh, where did the aliens come from? It's more interpersonal, you know, character relations and things like that. So that's why I'm excited for it. I always like that kind of stuff, sort of you know, what Game of Thrones does to fantasy, which is more about the people than most anything else. But it's a cool system where you are, you know, you have a X, you know, minute span of time that will play out on a timeline. And then you're kind of going back and you go to a different part of the room and you're seeing it happening. You're seeing it happening like, I guess you'd say augmented reality, sort of, where the holograms are walking around in the space and you can walk around them as that's happening. And I don't know much about the actual story. I think you're figuring out what happened. Why is this now abandoned?
Basically, wherever this takes place, is this like a space station or a futuristic city of space?
It's a space station.
I think basically, why is there no one here? Where did everybody go? Let's replay the tapes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're like putting together a mystery using memory logs.
Which is very much like Gone Home, where Gone Home you're using, you know, that took place in the 90s, so you're using cassette tapes and handwritten notes and things like that. I'm curious because Gone Home almost, I always say that Gone Home trolled people because when you first start off, especially when no one knew anything about the game, when you first start off, you think this is going to be a horror game. Like, you walk into this abandoned house, your family's missing, you look down the hallway and there's like the light of a TV flickering and it's like, there's like couch cushions everywhere and it's like tornado warning, you know? And spoiler alert for a 5-year-old game now, but it ends up becoming this heartwarming coming of age story about sexuality and, you know, youth and things like that. It's really interesting. Maybe a not intentional bait and switch, but there is a little bit there. So I'm curious what Tacoma's going to do, if they're going to... Jesus Christ. Can you hear that?
That one I heard.
Okay. I don't know if Fulbright want it to be their thing, where it's like, okay, we, you know, have to have the game seem like it's going to go this way and then it's going to end up that way, or what. I hope not. I hope it just tells a cool story. I'm certainly going to get this and play it. I think it's $20 right now.
Sounds about right.
Probably $19.99 on Steam. I'm sure other storefronts as well.
Free,
but they've got a good pedigree. Oh yes, free shipping and handling. Just have to have the download space. So that's why I'm not buying it right away. No, I'm excited for it. It's got a really cool
$19.99.
look. Yep. It's It's got a cool. It's raining inside my bedroom, so let me just close my window here. But it looks cool. I'm excited for it. I like their flavor of video games. Oh, that's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Everything's just fine.
We are professionals, darn it.
Everything's going okay over here. Oh my god. Nope, Tacoma. It's out now. Looks cool. Great reviews. Short. That's the criticism I've seen on it.
Really?
Is that it? People have beat it in 2 hours. Some people seem to average 4 for like a cool, like chilled out playthrough of it. So,
because it's interesting because every review I've seen so far has been at least like 9 out of 10, which is incredible, especially for a game like this.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt, and honestly, part of me more so than ever right now in my life, if a game is like, we're going to tell you a great story in 2 hours, cool. I'd prefer that than, hey, you're coming along for 60 hours and we're going to tell a lackluster story, but you're only going to find out at the end.
Would you rather play like $10 an hour for a great story versus like a couple cents an hour?
That's where it's hard. That's where
it's like cost to value. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you think about it, Titanfall 2 would have been $10 an hour as well, just about. So
Titanfall 2 was what, 7 hours?
6 to 7, depending on how quickly you were, and it was about a $60 game, right?
Yeah. And I got some multiplayer out of it. And Titanfall 2, I can definitely see myself replaying that story, probably in the not too distant future.
Speaking of
just because the game is fun to play. Something like Tacoma is not necessarily fun to play. You know, you're doing it and you're solving the puzzles and you were enjoying exploring the space. But once you've done it, it's not like, oh, I can't wait to do that level again because it was cool to jump around.
You're not going to have this replayability.
Yeah.
Speaking of Titanfall 2, if you have EA Origins, it is going to Access. If you have Origin Access, Titanfall 2 is going to be moving into that shortly. So keep an eye out for that. You actually can get it for free as long as you have access. So cool little thing there. Another thing that's happening or will be happening is Ludum Dare 39.
Ludum Dare is happening. Has happened. The games have been made. That's what it is. So Ludum Dare 39 happened this weekend. Ludum Dare is a regularly happening game jam that happens over like 72 hours, maybe less. You have like 3 days to make a video game, and you always have a theme. And a lot of really great, memorable games have come out of this. Like memorable indie games have come out of this, or prototypes for future games.
Are all these games free to play?
Should be.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play through them. The theme this weekend was running out of power. And I got to say, the person who won it, I don't know who it was, but this went around on Twitter. There was a room it was just a GIF, and it was a room that said Power Inc. And there was a guy in there, and then it's like he jogs out of the room, and it took me like 5 minutes to realize he was running out of power.
Power Incorporated.
I was like, oh, okay, yep, that's it. That's the one who won.
That literally was the guy who won.
No, well, I mean, I don't think they rank them and they rate them and stuff like that. And obviously, the best games sort of rise to the surface, there's some
kind of interesting ideas.
I played a cool one. The only one that I've played so far that followed the theme was. I really liked the presentation of it. It was a map of like a couple of buildings in London, England. Let's just say that England. And there were little lamps, and there were these groups of revolutionaries who were going out and just extinguishing the lamps. And you had to deploy police forces to stop the revolutionaries and technicians to relight the lamps. But the more lamps, obviously it starts to ramp up, and the more lamps that get extinguished, when they get doused, that part of the map disappears. So it gets harder because it's like, oh my God, I don't know where the lamp is, so I'm going to have to light this lamp to get there. Ultimately, you're going to lose. But it was a cool hand-drawn map. So I thought that was a cool take on it. That's what you get. Someone reads the premise, running out of power. Oh, okay. It's got kind of a double meaning. I'm running out of power, like the lamps, but I'm also running out of the power to stop it.
I mean, there's a game that you play, it's called Cheetah Power, where you're a cheetah who just tries to sprint and catch gazelles, so there's that.
There you go. So
Um,
you get some obvious takes, and you get some. There was another one that I've downloaded. I haven't played yet, but I saw the preview of it. It's like a kid playing a Game Boy, and you can like look out your window while you're driving home, and you can play the Game Boy, and the battery's running out of power. So
That's
it's just
pretty cool.
you know, cool, creative, quirky, one-off stuff that's fun and sometimes delightful, sometimes ingenious. You never know.
And I believe,
But those games are all available to play now.
if I was not mistaken, I think I just saw an article that said that a Humble Bundle right now.
Their Game Maker bundle.
Yes, is actually doing a bundle, which is game making software. So if you actually wanted to buy a bundle and start trying to make your own different games, have at it. I think this is what.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think actually I think it's a mixture of games as well as developing software. Yeah, Game Maker Studio 1.4, but it also has like, I just saw the one Uncanny Valley, Ink Shep Hard apparently is about looks like it's a hardcore herding game, I guess. So it actually looks like a cool little like mix of game making software as well as games.
I picked up their RPG, one of their RPG Maker bundles, way like 3 years ago. RPG Maker's fun too, but Game Maker also. If you do pick up Game Maker, Tom Francis does these fantastic Game Maker tutorials. I don't know if there's much difference between like versions of Game Maker. I know he did it a little while ago, but I'm sure it's got to be similar. But for people looking to code and design their first video game that's of, this is more than just, what you see is what you get, drag and drop, press X to make game kind of stuff. Not to diminish that. I certainly prefer those. But if you're looking for like, I want to learn coding and I want to learn, some kind of meaty stuff, he's got some great tutorials out there on YouTube. That's Tom Francis who does that.
A cool little update
What is next?
A cool little update to a game that has been around for a little while but still has tons of players. Stardew Valley is actually getting a cool little addition where they're actually trying to work out multiplayer within the same game, meaning you and your friends could make a farm together. And if you're really close friends...
Meaning everyone from Rollout who's been trying to get me to play Stardew Valley. Let's do it. Let's do this.
So I think if I remember reading it correctly, you work on the same farm just all together. You don't have like 4 or 5 separate farms. Mm-hmm. It's basically you just all can live and work on the same farm. And if you really want, you can marry each other if you really want to have that experience. So that is kind of cool.
Why not both?
I think they're shooting for later in the month, kind of next couple months. Maybe.
Oh, I thought it was next year.
Oh, maybe it was by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like
a month, a year. What is it in the grand scheme of things?
We're all just dust in the wind. But no, it's from what I've read, it looks like it's going pretty well. So I think if anything, this would make this one more of a like Steam sale bait kind of thing, because if you can definitely do it with a friend, I think that'd be really cool. Okay, you do the crops, I'll do the farm animals. We can do it in half the time.
Sure,
hooray! That kind of thing.
Well, it's funny because a lot of single player games where people cry out for multiplayer ultimately end up getting multiplayer mods. Like I remember, I think it was Just Cause 2 had a multiplayer mod. There are some of these games that just are like Skyrim. They've constantly tried to have a multiplayer mod for.
That's all they really need to do. If they want to make tons of money, release a multiplayer mod or co-op mod for Skyrim. Don't do Elder Scrolls Online. Literally just mod.
Or just keep re-releasing Skyrim as is.
Apparently.
Every year. Forever. Welcome to your life now.
I just want a game where it's like me and you can be like in the same Skyrim and be like, let's go into a cave together. Hey, hack and slash.
Mm-hmm.
But no one will ever give that because they suck. So... that's what I really want in this world.
That's the reason. That's the valid reason. Yeah. No, I don't know why they Skyrim. It must be hard baked into the code or something.
Or something. Who knows what?
Just really are like Elder Scrolls Online.
Skyrim, prettier trees, version 3. Thank you, Ocean Floor, for saying exactly what's in our mind. But the sad part is, I would probably re-download Skyrim. They're like, we have a new texture pack. Yay! Woo! Let's see how pretty I can make this now.
Did you see that great Grand Theft Auto 5 mod that's out right now?
Which one?
I'm
The space
trying to remember
one?
the name of it. It's a Natural Vision remastered.
Oh, the one that makes it almost like the super realistic overhaul
it's
for
so
graphics.
good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just read one that's like they just made a mod, or someone's trying to make a mod for GTA 5 to try to get it into space. You'd be in space with it, which is interesting. But
I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but okay.
they're trying. Modders can do whatever the hell they want. Another cool little.
Yeah.
Another cool little tidbit in the Stardew Valley realm. Meh? What?
Nothing. You said another cool little
Tidbit. This is what I work with.
It's one of those nights.
Anyway, in the same realm of Stardew Valley, a cool little tidbit of this is that a speedrunner set the record from time to marry to just under 30 minutes. They didn't really say what the previous record was, but I think this guy was able to marry someone in like 27 minutes and like 9 seconds or 90 seconds or something stupid like that.
Teach me your ways.
Apparently, in the speedrunner community, there was one character that was like everyone's go-to to try to speedrun.
That has no morals.
It's like I forget which chick it was. Start with an M. But actually, this one did it with a completely different character and using a glitch in the game. Apparently, if you like name your character something specific, like the same item index number as an actual item in the code, it like will spontaneously spawn the item like whenever something gets triggered. So like he was able to like backdoor to get this person's favorite items and give them to them sooner than what they physically should be able to do in the game, and I think that's how he's actually
No, please. Mr. Jordan was my father. Call me Shovel.
Sad but true. It was something similar to that. But so we'll see if we actually
Interesting.
We'll eventually break down and do the Stardew Valley plunge. But
I have Stardew Valley. I just need to play it.
I don't even have it yet, so I'm really behind the 8 ball. Another cool gaming news, just kind of a news piece that I just think is so funny that I had to talk about it. I don't know if anyone else out there remembers Twitch Plays, which is basically someone is able to like mod Twitch, whether it's Twitch chat or something that's happening on screen or anything else, and actually is able to use Twitch to control a game that's live on stream. So like there used to be like the big one when it first went like huge was Twitch Plays Pokemon like Red and Blue. You could have like you could spam A in chat and then you're trying to like in order to select whatever's highlighted or like up and like it'll go up in a menu or anything else like that.
Yeah, it was a communal chat-based playing of the game.
Yeah, and it took them I forget how many months, I think, before they're actually able to complete the whole game. Like, actually able to complete...
What cracks me up is they were like,
weeks,
Twitch Plays Pokemon, and, like, yeah, it took a long time by, comparison, and they did it, and then they were like, okay, what's our next one? Dark Souls.
Yeah, like, whoosh, straight. Like, because those are equivalent games in my book. But,
and they did it. They beat it.
So, it is interesting. I don't know how long this has been running, but they've actually been making a Twitch Plays PlayerUnknown Battleground, and the big news piece was that Twitch Plays is actually already able to make third in one of the rounds, which is hilarious if you think about it, because think of how many controls are in a third-person shooter. Crouch, move, shoot, switch weapons, open up menu, equip,
move your camera, move your view,
exactly.
Aim.
I'm curious if they got third by like bugging out in a corner of a house and everyone else just died off and they're like, "Yay, we survived!"
I know, just like really crap opponents.
Or like, were they actually able to get kills? Were they driving a jeep and like someone's like, "Turn left, no, turn right, go straight," and he just keeps on going straight, goes over a ramp, kills somebody. Like,
were they playing against real people?
Apparently, it was just like, go for it, public play, just do it to it.
Weird.
I don't know. Could you imagine being like if the name of the guy was actually Twitch Plays and it's like you're just being killed by Twitch Plays? You're like, I have to stop playing this game. The salt level.
That's it. I'm so bad.
The salt level is over 9,000.
I'm so bad at video games. I've literally been beat by a bunch of people spamming messages into chat.
You basically got beat by a bunch of monkeys with a typewriter. I mean, it's just how it happened.
Yeah. Eventually, they're gonna. that should be the updated version of that whole philosophy. Like if you get enough monkeys, an infinite amount of monkeys with an infinite amount of typewriters, eventually one of them will rank third in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
That's exactly how that goes. We're updating an old saying for the common era. But
welcome to 2017.
I mean, well, if you think about it, did you see the one video where it was like Epic Gaming fails, and it was a guy in a PlayerUnknown Battleground who had a shotgun who walked into a building with the guy facing away from him, and he missed like 14 to 15.
I did see that.
Like 14 or 15 point blank shots to only get killed by the guy. It was like
guy turns
he's
around,
here,
like,
his reticle's like whoop bang, 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 and he's literally like a foot away from him with a shotgun, which should be the easiest weapon to kill. He literally just had to stand there and not move and just click it, and he would have killed him. No, he's just like bouncing over him.
That was some straight up Star Wars stormtrooper action right there.
Yeah. Oh my god, when you take a stormtrooper and a red coat, the stormtrooper misses, but the red coat still dies. Or red shirt, rather, not red coat.
Red coat. Well, hey, you know.
Hashtag America.
Zing.
No.
We love our British fans.
But PlayerUnknown Battleground also did another cool thing where it has officially set the record for most played non-Valve game, meaning non-Counter-Strike, non-Dota 2. It has set the record.
So that means it's beat out DayZ?
Everything non-Valve owned.
Jeez.
So, which is interesting to put that caveat on there, but I guess, I mean, how do you really outbeat Dota or Counter-Strike?
Well, it's funny because I understand why PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is popular. I understand why that type of game is popular. And were this maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, I would be playing it. Mm-hmm. I'd be playing it. I'd be hating it, but I'd be playing it. I'd be like, oh, yeah, but everyone else is playing this, and I there's a little bit of fun, you know, in it. It's, you know, it mixes shooter with something like DayZ. You know, it's more on the shooter end of it. I wonder if we're going to see, maybe this is a real shot in the dark, but you're going to see PUBG alikes the way you have MOBAs, where all of a sudden, because I thought PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was a DayZ alike, but then I started to find out more about the game. I'm like, oh, this is kind of its own thing. All right.
Well, do you know there actually is a PlayerUnknown? He's the developer of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, that's why it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
He actually said that he's more than open to any like
mutations,
like crossover or something like with it.
Yeah.
Like he can literally say like, "Hey, anyone wants to come and pair just this with something? Just go right ahead." He's like, he just.
But I wonder if you're going to start to see, you know, like insert franchise here. You know, we're going to do the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds things, but with Star Wars characters. Pony. Yeah, with My Little Pony, that'll happen. You know, so who knows?
But
with your favorite anime characters, who knows?
Yeah, but it seems like he's open to just about anything. So he seems like a pretty laid-back guy, frankly.
Yeah, actually, it seems really cool. But
and our last news piece today is just a game that I wanted to talk about just because it is just like a funny little game where like it kind of purposely pokes fun in itself. Like it knows what it is, and it just like steers into the skid. Yeah. Galaxy of Pen and Paper is an RPG where you play people playing an RPG.
If this sounds familiar, it's the same people who did Knights of Pen and Paper.
Exactly. But so it's a game where you play players who are playing like a D&D-esque adventure. So
on a table.
On a table.
On a literal table.
Over Skype, which is hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, you actually make two players and you actually make a DM. And then you literally like go through as these three people are playing an RPG, and you're 50, and like it'll stop you like, and then the guy landed in his spaceship. Mom, I need Doritos.
See, there's another game that I would get this confused with. We get Knights of Pen and Paper confused with called Card Hunter, which I really like. Card Hunter a lot. I love Card Hunter. Card Hunter is a game that looks like a physical tabletop game, you know, with little pieces that you would pick up and move. It's got that look to it. And it plays just kind of like a tabletop game would. And in between are cutscenes where it's just static animated faces with dialogue, where you're at your nerdy friend's basement and he's, you know, his big brother comes in and he starts picking on him, kind of stuff like that. So it's whatever, but it's an incredible game. It's free. too, or at least it was free. Card Hunter. Knights of Pen and Paper, I haven't played. However, the same company made a game called Chroma Squad, and I feel really bad. Chroma Squad is the only game that I have in my Steam library that I regret spending money on. That I played enough of it to not refund, or maybe like refunds weren't a thing yet. Either way, I would have gotten a refund. Chroma Squad is entirely based on nostalgia for Power Rangers. I don't really have that as a reference point in my life. I watched a little bit of it, but not enough that
we are in the same age group. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but I didn't watch it in the way to say, like, this is my favorite show on television. And this is like a complete, like, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't, however. And so
I always wanted to be the Blue Ranger.
The Blue Ranger was awesome. I do remember that because he had like yes. The game it's the same kind of thing. It's a self-aware thing where the game is about a TV show cast of people who play like the Chroma Squad, which is like Power Rangers, except they get the powers for real or something like that. So it's like you're in no. What it is you're acting out scenes in the TV show. And so it's this kind of turn-based grid thing where you're fighting the enemies and you have to fight them and be flashy about it to look good for the show. And the background stuff is like green screen and like TV lights and stuff like that. So like on that aesthetic, I thought, oh, this looks cool, but I did not have fun playing the game at all. Like it was this turn-based kind of combat that was just not fun for me. And the jokes that it was making were, you ever hear someone like referencing something? People probably experience that with our podcast. Just like referencing something and laughing about it and being like, ha 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 ha. And you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I can't even figure out half of
the marshmallow ate the cucumber.
Yeah, so the cucumber, I know, they brought the cucumber back. The cucumber hadn't been there before, but now he's there. And it's like,
and the lemon beans
what am I gonna do? And you're just like, this is over my head. That's what this felt like for me. So probably Knights of Pen and Paper and what's this other one? Galaxy of Pen and Paper?
Galaxy of Pen and Paper. Because it's a space RPG that you're playing within this RPG.
I'm sure it's probably the same thing where it's like self-referential humor. Hey,
very much
you know what we are. You know what we're doing.
Like there's times when like Skype buzzes out on them and like things like that, or like a player argues with the DM. They're like, but if you like, oh,
and the stuff changes.
But it's like, and a spaceship lands nearby. Well, shouldn't we take damage? Because if you go to page 198 and the crash landing damage...
See, that's funny, but because we know that experience.
Well, yeah, we know people who are like that. They're like rule mongers, and the DM's just like, no, this is my ruling, everything is fine, oh no, shut up. Like, that literally, like, he says that line. So it's just like, meh. But you could, when you make characters, you can make the character, as in the player playing the character... Like, you can pick their personality type as part of character creation. So you could pick the rule monger. You can pick the laid-back guy. You can pick the geek or the guy who's here to eat.
Just a team of laid-back guys. I don't know. I attack him. Okay.
Do you guys want to save him? Do you want to save him? I don't really care. Do you want to save him?
Yeah, just,
like, hang back.
Do you want to be saved? No.
Oh, man.
No. Okay, well, in that regard, that's probably fun and funny. But I think that there's a problem with that. What I experienced with Chroma Squad is that if you don't know what it's referencing and the game that's backing it up isn't fun, it's not like I was like, well, this game is fun, but the story is beyond me. It was just like, oh, I'm not
everything about it was just like,
yeah, I'm not having. I came here to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling so out of the loop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But
I'm sure these are fun games if you're
in the know. It looks corny enough to sell
I appreciate
itself.
Corny a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't look like there's a lot of depth here, which is interesting considering it's an endless RPG within an RPG.
Right.
But it looks kooky enough for like a little bit amount of fun, but man.
And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, there's a package right now where you can get like all of their games or their pen and paper games.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Right
for real
now.
cheap.
I think I saw that on Steam.
But
Brian!
and with that, Sorry,
Post yawn.
This is another late night episode of Addicted to Loot.
And as such, we're whizzing through it. So
yeah, which is interesting.
Apologies to anyone who's looking for.
Probably
a
isn't our
episode.
most shining podcast right after our 1 year special, but stick with us. We are here for you guys. What? Okay. So moving on to our playlist. So these are the games that we actually have played recently. I shouldn't say this week, but at least recently. So the first one I want to touch upon just as a quick little, just like sidebar. Won't even spend that much time on it. I said last week that I've been trying to replay Final Fantasy XIV just because I was in a mood for free MMOs or
Final
something.
Fantasy Exciv.
So I was just replaying everything, trying to find an MMO touch because because it was the latest expansion for Final Fantasy XIV just came out. There's no way I was going to make it to the expansion, but I'm like, oh well, I'll just try it out again, see if anything changed. Nope, nothing's changed. The same gripes I've had with it before are the exact same ones that are in here. It does not drive me to play it whatsoever, which isn't. I shouldn't say anything wrong about the game because the game itself, realistically, is very well polished for a free MMO. Especially right now, I think it's not completely free, but it's mostly free or whatever else. It's an extremely well done game. You get basically the whole package right off the bat. It's just that for me personally, for me, it just seems like a button simulator because I'm just sitting there going, oh, I gotta run over here, click. Oh, I gotta run over here, click. And like,
do you think that it's a game that shines in its late game? Because I know my friend Eric loves Final Fantasy XIV.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, WoW right now would be the same way. Like that time when I said, like, oh, I want to go back to replay WoW just to like relive my old nostalgia days when I very first played vanilla WoW when it just came out, and I hated myself. I wanted to put a bullet in my head because it's like, this is the most boring, god awful. Like, you're a first level dwarf. You're in the very first ever starting area. Go kill 3 rabbits. Hitchink. Like, it's the same thing.
Just saying, Star Wars: The Old Republic lets you start a character at level 60 so you can get right to the expansions.
WoW did that too with Legion. So, just saying.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
But
another good game then.
I mean, it's not even like the beginning of Final Fantasy XIV is bad. It's just, as a whole, at least from what I've played, the combat to me isn't all that interesting. The character development isn't all that interesting. The story isn't actually all that bad. But I just feel like I'm playing a story on rails and just like randomly picking my snarky comments.
I know I've asked this before, so let's just pretend this is for the benefit of any new listeners or viewers that we might have. Does Final Fantasy XIV feel like a Final Fantasy game? Like, you have to be into Final Fantasy? Or, on the flip side, if you're into Final Fantasy, you'll be like, oh, cool, it's more of this. Or does it feel more generic?
It's only nostalgic if you played Final Fantasy XI at all. Because besides that...
Which is the other MMO.
Which was the original MMO that was shut down a while ago, before 14. Before 14. Because this is basically a very similar transition from 11, but there's not like any other Final Fantasy is equivalent to this one. It's not like the same universe as other Final Fantasies. It's basically the same universe, sort of, as Final Fantasy 11. I mean, there's Chocobos. That's about the only real Final Fantasy connection. It feels like a Final Fantasy game. It has like the Final Fantasy like dial-up tones and waiting music and all that stuff.
See, I guess I would be like the combat. What's the combat like in Final Fantasy XIV? Is it hotbar, click enemy you're attacking?
It's it's standard MMO. You run up to the guy, you click him.
Okay.
You click to start attacking. You'll swing at random intervals, and then you just tab your abilities as you want them. They have systems where like abilities feed off of each other. So if you do this ability before that ability, you trigger additional effects, or you get better damage, or blah 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 blah, combo breakers and all that crap.
Real exciting stuff.
Well, it just I don't know. It's all just kind of blah to me. It's not that it's bad. There's just nothing that wows me. It's like I said, like I run up to a thing and I'm going to whack it with literally a giant two-handed war axe, and I'm playing the largest race in the game, and it's just like, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem with all MMOs. Actually, I mean, Star Wars: The Old Republic does a better job than any I've played, but most MMOs lacked the ability to make you feel like you're doing weight in the universe. Like, you hit something with a
Well,
giant hammer, it should feel like you just smack something in the head with a giant hammer. It's not like they bounce off or they get stunned or they get flung. It's just like you hit them, there's a flash of light, and they're just exactly the same way as always. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like, you don't feel like combat means anything because it doesn't do anything. At least
I did like the way that Black Desert Online felt, and I'm happy to play more of that game in the future.
I've only
but
played like
that
two.
had a good crunch to it.
I haven't played enough of it. I tried to play a little bit. I just got so overwhelmed. I'm just like, meh. I'll play it later.
Yeah, understandable.
It's just like when you first jump in, it's like all the things ever, and you're just like, oh god, there's too much.
And you hit escape to go to the menu, and it looks like someone who's owned a smartphone for 4 years. Like, there's so many icons. You're just like, oh, there's so many tiny icons.
Yeah, it's just
Where's quit? Which one's quit?
I couldn't do it, but at least Black Desert Online is like a hack and slasher, so there's some.
That's the thing.
I don't know, but even Star Wars: The Old Republic
and Terra. I think Terra's another one that's got a nice kind of meaty.
That I'm not sure of, but like even Star Wars: The Old Republic. If you're playing a bounty hunter and you use your rocket barrage, everyone on the screen at least falls off their feet onto the ground. It might not be a lot, but it at least feels like, holy shit, I did something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem with most MMOs. It's just like, Terra. So, that's my problem. Like, it's, like I say, it's not a bad game, but to me, it's not a great game, and maybe it's a game that you have to put the time into. At least Star Wars: The Old Republic, if you start out at level 1, it feels like a good game, like, and it's an exciting game. It makes you want to play to level 60. For me here,
and that's even outside of the writing. Like the gameplay is exciting. You are instantly fighting other guys.
Final Fantasy 14, like maybe it has a great end game, but I don't have motivation to get to end game. Same thing if I wanted to play WoW at level 1 for the very first time. Just no motivation to continue with it. It's just like they'd have to go back and reinvent the wheel, but obviously they're putting all their efforts into new content versus revamping old content, which is what anyone would do. So
yeah, that's the trouble with MMOs. Yeah.
Eventually
Guild Wars 2 is getting a huge expansion.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that just because I'm not a big Guild Wars fan. But
it's so weird. Guild Wars 2, I liked it, but I never fell in love with it. Like, I played Guild Wars 2 is the first MMO where I got a character to max level ever. Like, I've never done that. I got my main character to, I guess it was 80 at the time was the cap. And
60 or 80.
It was something like that. And I just, like, as soon as I hit that point, I never went back. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and you did it, like, in record time, too, because I remember, like, I only got it because of you. And we were like, same level, same level, same level. I went to sleep, you're max level. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Well, I always share this story. I bought Guild Wars 2 and immediately after got deathly sick. Like, I had a cold. It was in October. It was the MMO season. I had a cold that just knocked me on my ass for 2 weeks. And it was there. It was the new game I had. So that was all I did. And you know what it's like when you have a cold and you're playing a video game. Like, you get in this, like, delirious state of, like, you close your eyes and you see the game and you're just like, I have to continue playing it because it's all I know right now.
That's all you can think about.
It's my only, like, light in the darkness.
But
so that's why that happened.
Yeah. So, like I said, the jury for me is still out on Final Fantasy 14. I want to love this game. I just can't do it, which is the problem.
We should get Eric on sometime because I'd love to hear him champion for it because he just swears by it. He's like,
it's just
that's
like
his favorite game.
Maybe if someone power leveled me to max and I could do all the end game content, maybe. But like I just can't. And it doesn't have the same like awe factor as Final Fantasy 11 did because oh my god, Final Fantasy 11, which was one of my top 5 games of all time. If you didn't listen to last week's podcast, but anyway, spoilers. Moving on. I thought I talked about Cosmoteer. Did I talk about Cosmoteer? I thought I talked about this last a podcast or two ago. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. A little bit.
I know you and I have talked about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't remember now.
Don't remember but anyway, if we talked about it on stream.
It's been on the list and I didn't delete it off, so I might as well just recover it. Cosmoteer is a free starship building and battling simulator, which is the best way to stand it because it's still super early access. This is a game that's free because at this moment the developer cares far more about feedback than anything else. He wants as many people as possible, to download it, play to their heart's content, and just give them opinions, feedback, bug finds,
That's a
anything and
good dev.
everything. It is an absolutely great game. I did a few YouTube videos on it. If you just want to see it in action, there's plenty of YouTubers that covered this game. You can find tons of them. I liked mine, even though I crashed and burned horrifically multiple times on camera, which is even the better part. But
Yeah,
it's
incriminating evidence.
it's an awesome free game. I mean, for especially free, you get so much here. I mean, if you like Minecrafting or just like anything where you just get like put squares and other squares and make things pretty.
Oh
and
yes,
look anything,
this is the one that looks like Heat Signature.
sure. But
Okay, I remember this
I mean,
now.
anyone
yeah.
who likes that kind of like crafty stuff, great for you. If you like space combat, like FTL, but like more in depth, also perfect for you. I mean, this game hits a lot of different spots, and I do believe that the developer is going to be doing a lot more, like eventually doing a campaign mode and all that other stuff. Right now, it's basically just
Do the ships, the design of them, is the symmetry by you, or does
By
it
choice.
automatically do that?
by choice. You can have a
Okay.
mirror mode or not. You can click mirror mode on or off.
Okay,
Most of my stuff.
because I'm looking
is
at pictures right
symmetrical,
now,
but
and the
there's
ships
other-
are all like symmetrical.
No, there's I've seen ships that aren't, but yeah, you can easily do a mirror mode and just make anything you want symmetrical, which is nice. But
Cool.
I did
Yeah,
like,
this is a game that I'd like to play.
I did a lot of like complete ship building in my videos, which obviously takes like 40 minutes, but I like time lapsed it, so it's like I condense 40 minutes into like a minute worth of like time, so you just see my cursor just to show people what it looks like, kind of thing. So
Sure.
it actually
Yeah.
it actually features some.
Yeah,
of,
go check that out,
It
folks.
actually features some of Tomality's music as the keeping you entertained
Holy
music.
shit!
I told you
Then
about
now
that.
there's an extra reason to go check it out.
I told you about that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, by the way, I hope you don't mind. I
It was during
featured
the
this.
21 Days of VGM stuff, so I was like,
Yeah. I just
Cool
found something
music.
that matched. I'm like, here it is. Go have fun. But it's a cool little game. I would recommend this basically to everybody. If nothing else, just to try it out. It is a fun game. And he's just going to constantly... I'm hoping he's going to be adding more content to it because it's a lot of fun, but some of it's a little broken. And like, there's definitely like a clear meta. Like, what weapons are definitely better than others, but... Obviously, it's still super
sure.
early access, so there needs to be balancing. You need to add more stuff, and so on and so on and so on. But it's still a super solid game. Like you can actually make fleets. You can actually, instead of having one major ship, you can actually purchase like a second diagram, and then like you can have like 2 ships and more and more and more, and you can just keep adding to it if you really wanted. There's like an endless money mode where you
Cool.
can just build as big of a thing as you want, just for poops and giggles, and see what happens. So, like I said,
motherload mode.
I definitely would recommend this to anyone. Now.
Cool.
Last thing I'm going to be talking about is a surprising. It's kind of not an MMO, but it's an online game, it's an online sandbox game, which typically wouldn't be in my wheelhouse, but I wanted to try something out, so I put it in. I actually bought it and I actually did at least 2 first impression videos on it. So if you want to go check them out on Addicted YouTube. Citadel Forged with Fire is a game that we talked about a little bit before. This is the game where you basically play a wizard or a mage or a sorcerer in a world where you can you can build your own house, you can build your own gear, you can craft things, you gather raw materials like any other. It's not a survival game.
I think a lot of people might know this is the one that has the video that looks like you're Harry Potter, like you're
basically
riding on
you
broomsticks.
can ride a broomstick kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't gather for survival, but it's the same kind of mechanic, if that makes sense. Like you can pick a branch off the ground, but you don't need to like eat food or anything. So that's just how you gather resources. You can either just pick them off the ground, or you can use
It's a
spells.
perfect life.
Or you can just use spells to gather stuff and things like that. So, and fun fact, or my one little helpful hint, that if you don't watch the YouTube videos and you're just listening to this, at level 5, you have to take the gathering spell or you're an idiot. Like, it's the only thing that makes the game go smoothly from there on out. Like,
This is Brian's hot build guide of the night.
Basically,
this will save
yeah.
you a trip to Reddit.
so it's, you have to get that spell or you're just going to be slowly grinding and grinding. It makes everything go by so much quicker, especially if you're more of a crafter. If you just buy this game just to build a super big mansion, get the spell. Any way, shape, or form. It's, for what it is, it's not bad. Like, I should also caveat this, but it is early access, so there is bugs and everything else. If you look at my first impression videos, I did find 1 or 2 live on the video. Like, I actually found a few bugs and things like that. So, for what it is, like, it has promise. The home crafting for being like a subcomponent of a larger game actually isn't all that bad. As you get up, like there's wood, stone, there's like multiple different types of materials, and you can unlock them as you go forward, and then obviously that unlocks different types of houses that you can make in different like shapes of houses you can make and stuff like that. There actually is a surprising amount of features for home building, like, you know, a full square floor or corner floor, full wall, windowed wall, slanted roofs, flat roofs, corner roofs, sidings, and all that other crap. Some decorations and things like that. So it actually is pretty decently in depth if you just want to do that. If you want a game that's more like Skyrim-esque hack and slash, where like you become a super powerful mage, you just want to cast spells and like kill things in combat, not really the greatest. It's kind of light on that. Like, combat to me just seems like,
oh yeah,
I'm just kind of like hitting at something until it dies, and I take its pelt or its whatever I loot off of it.
Do you think that's going to change in time, or is that indicative of how the
I think it's just how it works. So, like, most sandbox games or even survival games don't really have like a super intensive combat. It's always like,
right,
and especially since you're a wizard, it's kind of like thing attacks you, you attack thing, and over and over and over again. It's not like you block, parry, dodge, roll. It's just you cast a spell or you swing a weapon. That's basically your entire combat, which it is what it is. Which can be fun because some of the spells they do a nice job with. The spells are fun. They do well. They look cool. I think they do a pretty good job of making you feel like a wizard. The one spot I want to grind at least to get to the broom flying, because I want to see if that is like, you know, kind of like oh my god, the City of Heroes. Like, where you can buy, like, where you know, because in City of Heroes, like, one of the superpower, everyone got a travel power as part of the MMO, and one of them is flying, and flying was incredible. So I'm curious if this is just like, if you get a broom and you can just fly anywhere with 0 degrees of restriction, this game would probably be awesome because you could fly to where you need to go, collect the stuff, fly back, or you can be like...
Well, that seems like a big selling point of it.
You fly over a ridge and like, oh, there's a cool house down there. I'll fly down and check it out, versus, oh, I need to walk around the volcano, I need to fight 5 or 6 different things to get there.
Yeah.
I think the broom could actually be a pretty interesting mechanic. And the other thing is, that another selling point they tried to use was that you, the player, as well as players, would have a bigger impact in like the local diplomacy and city health and things like that. I don't see how that's gonna happen, but that's what they say. I just don't see it because, like, right now there's like 3 different like spawn areas, and neither one of them's like a bustling city. It's just like a spawn circle with a protective bubble around it. That literally is it. Like, there's not.
Do you think it'll grow?
Maybe the whole point of it is like, you build your house near other people who built their house, and then like you just kind of like become like a small little neighborhood, and then like, hey, I have a bunch of extra bricks lying around. Well, I have some extra pelts. I don't know. It seems interesting.
Let's form a community.
One thing is you can form guilds or groups or whatever else, and you can actually make like, oh, now Tom, you can freely edit the house. Like, you can have 4 or 5 people with one ownership, or you can, you know what I mean, or just give your friends access to edit your house or things like that. So there is also some of that if you like the whole guilding and things like that.
Cool.
But I don't know. I think game is more geared for people who are far more into sandboxes. So if you're a big sandbox gamer, I think this would be a good game for you, because it's like sandbox with a little extra different type of feature, as opposed to people who are looking for a new type of MMO or a new type of RPG.
Sure.
So I would definitely say if you're a sandboxer, look into it, but with the caveat of early access. I
do like sandbox games, so...
It does that part well, I should say. I mean, at least that part it does well. I'm usually not a big sandbox person or a crafting person, but it took me like, I don't even know, over a half an hour to slowly grind, shape, and like formulate a small house. Like, it just took to grind all the material, to position everything, to grind all the material again, and then like slowly position everything. And then it takes so much material to build little things that you're constantly like, oh, I got 4 floor pieces out. Shit, go grind some more. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I obviously, you know, for good reason, I think Minecraft is successful, and I think that always hit a sweet spot of like how much when you play it,
Ding ding
you know,
ding,
survival
ding,
mode.
Ding 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 ding. Yeah.
It has a good kind of gathering to construction ratio. The amount of work you want to put in. Of course, I also I like playing
one block, like almost guaranteed. Like
yeah. I liked playing Minecraft as a survival game. Like, I thought that was really fun as a, oh my god, I have to build a shelter because it's going to be night. I'm hiding, daytime. Okay, go out, get some animals, build what more I can. And so, like, you would have, like, this ramshackle. I remember my very first thing was this, like, crazy wackadoo tower in the middle of a lake because I thought it'd be, you know, the safest place. And it just was like built onto all this stuff was added onto it from all the sides and corners. And it's funny because like when you play creative mode, you're just like, you have a vision, create it. You know, you want to make a cool house that's made all out of glass or something. Go ahead, go for it. But when you have something that you built in survival mode, you're like, damn it, this is my house. There is blood, sweat, and creeper tears in this thing. Like this was work, you know.
Yeah,
but that's Minecraft.
So I would say check out the videos I put up. See if it's something you like. If people are interested, I will do a few more videos on it just to see if I can get a few more features out there. I've had at least one person leave a comment about wanting to see more, so I'll probably do maybe a video or two more and just see what happens.
Cool.
Tom, take it away.
I have been playing some games these past few weeks.
Dream
and
Dad.
by that, I mean I played a bunch of games on, like, Monday.
Dream Daddy, or whatever it's called. Dream Husband, or whatever it was.
Oh, I haven't played Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy. Yeah.
I'm still playing Crush, man. I'm still, like, grinding through Crush. I'm eager to see who some of the future girls are in that, because it seems like it gets a little apocalyptic, which is always fun. Idle games have a weird way of always making a twist towards the end where it's like, you've unlocked the apocalypse. It's like, what? I was just dating anime girls. What happened? Where did this happen?
What happened to Beatrice?
What's going on? Yeah, what happened to Beverly? Yeah, no, I haven't played Dream Daddy, but a lot of people have done Dream, I don't know what you would call it, Dream Mommy artworks, and I would play that. That looks like that would be fun. There's other words, but I'm not going to say them here. So what I have been playing, though, which is family-friendly, very family-friendly, in fact, is something called the Universe Sim. This is... yeah, there's a twist with Beverly. The Universe Sim is a God game, I guess is the name of the genre, where you are an omnipresent creator who is managing it's not like Civ or something where you're doing a 4X. You are almost a presence where you are like nudging along the evolution of people, you know. I'm trying to think of good examples, but of the genre. But it's what you call a God game.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying
Goddess, I guess, but yeah, Peter Molyneux kind of games.
Spore? What the fuck was that?
Spore, kind of. Yeah, it has a little bit of Spore. So you have a planet. It's a beautiful, gorgeously rendered planet. Very small, but like the features on it are large. Like it's a mini planet with exaggerated things. So like a mountain. You know, you could hold the planet in your hands and a mountain would be like sticking out of it 1.5 inches. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like very condensed version of an Earth-like planet. It probably would take a human an hour of real life time to walk around it. That's about the scale. And you put down this little thing. There's a demo for it. This is what I played. The game isn't out yet, but there's a pretty nice demo for it. You put down a little center, which becomes your epicenter. It's sort of like this gathering of ritual stones, and you use that to draw random upgrades. And so one will be like, okay, you now have access to the idea of how to make shoes, you know, and then you kind of randomly draw different cards, and so you can pick one, and it takes an amount of time to do. while you're doing that, you've got these little people. They're called nuggets. They're adorable. They're little mini people, and they're going out and they're foraging. They're getting, they're chopping trees for wood, and they're mining stones for rock, and they build their own houses. And it's really funny. They're very self-managing. I think you start off with like maybe 3 or 4, and then 2 of them, they built a house. This was just happening, and then they went in the house, and the house started like shaking. And there were these little hearts coming off of it, and it was like bloop. Little Ugnug has been brought into the world. And so they're like cavemen. They're like little Neanderthal people. And they age at an accelerated rate, and seasons are happening. And so you're doing things like you're building farms and wells and water pumps and stuff like that. Kind of like a 4X game, but without the combat side of it, just the development of civilization. And so you have to think about things like if you build a farm, you're going to build crops. What season is it? What crops do you want right now? Because, oh God, everyone's hungry. We need something that can be harvested, like grown and harvested really quickly. Or, oh no, I'd rather play the long game. I'm going to have a crop that'll take a year, but will give me a bounty of food once it's done. And people are living and dying. And what's kind of funny is the whole game has a sense of humor. And so people die, and you have to build a graveyard to put them in, or otherwise they're just going to sit there, and people get annoyed with dead bodies lying around. And it's not like, ew, that's unsanitary. It's like, wow, it's really annoying that there's a dead guy there. There are little messages that pop up. Like when a child comes into adulthood, it'll be like, little Blorgnog says growing up is the dumbest idea ever. It's just like, this is the worst decision I've ever made. Or so-and-so has grown up. Time to put them to work for the rest of their lives. It's cute. It's funny. I like the mechanic of how you go back to the ritual stones and you're kind of drawing new upgrades, and you kind of have to pick an upgrade, then they'll randomly shuffle through. So it's not just like where something like Civ, you're saying, well, now I'm going to research textiles, which is going to lead me to research armor, which is going to lead me to research weapons. There's a path. This is kind of randomly giving you that stuff. What?
Bart, I swear if I have to step over your
Yeah.
throat one more time.
It's very inconvenient. And it's cute. The demo ends sort of sooner than I would have hoped. Well, it doesn't end, but upgrades get locked off. You can't upgrade any further. I can't tell if this game is ultimately going to get to a point where you make an advanced civilization. Maybe you go to another planet. I could see you overpopulating the planet just because it's so compressed. So there must be some kind of mechanic where it's like, okay, I have to go to space, go populate a new planet. And I could see that being really fun, but the demo ends with you still being very much cavemen. Maybe that's the game. Maybe that's the whole thing. But the promo art has like skyscrapers and stuff like that, so I'm assuming you can go further.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just fun. It feels like a Maxis game, like SimCity and stuff like that. The interface is very nice. The music is gorgeous, very much like Sims music. This kind of miracle of life, like majestic string orchestra kind of stuff. There was one point I didn't realize that you could pick up your little nuggets, your people.
Oh, no.
So I'm clicking, and when you click to and drag and zoom the planet around, it does this really cool kind of tactile, like whoosh, whoosh, and there's this big sense of you're moving a planet around, you're spinning it and stuff. And at one point I clicked on someone and sent them flying, and they landed in a splatter of blood. It was like, Oogablud died by their creator's hand. I was like, oh my God. I'm so sorry.
It's kind of like in
the guy that I had work.
In like Roller Coaster Tycoon, you pick someone up and like drown them.
It's very much like Roller Coaster Tycoon. The whole vibe and aesthetic of the game feels like Roller Coaster Tycoon, like the kind of light polygon style. But it left me feeling good about it. I'd like to see this game as it develops. It's a fun and nice demo that'll kill an hour and a half of your time. But if you're into that type of game, maybe it'll just scratch an itch for a little while. I recommend it. I recommend people check it out. But that's called the Universe Sim, and it's still in development. I don't know who makes it offhand. Another thing that I played, another demo that I played, is for an upcoming game called Escape Dudeland. And this is really great. I'm friends with one of the developers on Twitter, and so they've been putting out all these like updates on it. Just the illustration and stuff is really great. But I couldn't quite tell what the game was until finally playing it. This is like if you were on Newgrounds 10 years ago, 2007, and you just saw cool-looking platformer with this flash hand-drawn kind of aesthetic. That's it. That's what this is. It feels like a Behemoth game, like that era of like Castle Crashers and stuff like that. It's a platform, endless runner kind of platformer. It's not an endless runner that's randomly generating, but you are going on a set course, trying to outrun this thing that's chasing you. And of course, there are obstacles and things like that. And all of your skills are fart based. So, like, if you want. Yes. So if you want to, like, you have obviously a limited amount of fart capacity, and you can, restock it, get fart ammunition. So, like, you press the right button and you'll fart up and go, and it's this cute little hand-drawn cartoon character. It looks like notebook doodles, like all the illustration and stuff. Looks like stuff that was drawn on lined note paper. Music's this like all the characters are like it's it's that kind of thing, fun, funny, cartoony. I don't usually get on with these kinds of games, but I found myself every time I hit an obstacle, retry, yes, no, I could do better this time, no, I could go further, and then it's like, yes, I did it. It's like, congratulations, you finished world 1. What? So there's a lot to it. It's very hard, or I should say it's challenging. It's not hard. You understand it. You're going to understand everything about it, but it's challenging. You're going to see a jump and you're like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could have done that. So you go back and do it again. Oh, I came just short. You go back and do it again. Yes, I did it. Oh, why did I hit that wall? Do it again. So it struck me how much it felt like a 2007 era Newgrounds Flash game.
I miss Newgrounds.
It scratched a familiar nostalgic itch for sure. But that's Escape Dudeland. The demo I got through their signing up for like a beta test kind of mailing list sort of thing. I don't know if it's freely available or if you can still sign up for it. But if you can, and that sounds up your alley, go do it. It's good. And also, I was going to talk about this last week, and both because of time and because I felt like I hadn't played enough of it, I put it off to this week. Turns out I still haven't played more of it. So I'm going to talk about what I know. It's a game called My Time at Portia, and that's Portia, Portia, not like the car. It's definitely, it wants to be a Nintendo game. It's a farming, I guess, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, a little bit Animal Crossing, but not quite. Big, chunky cartoon graphics, nice bright pastel colors, simple color palette, I guess I shouldn't say pastel. Cartoon characters with big heads and little bodies, You inherit a farm. You got to first clean up, patch up the holes in your house or you weren't going to get a good night's sleep. So you got to go get wood, and you get wood by going out and punching smaller trees. And if you want to take down a bigger tree, you want to build an axe.
Who thought that punching a tree would be sufficient to get wood?
That became, because of Minecraft, it became such a thing. Like, oh yes, I have to punch this tree. Clearly, that's how I get, my wood.
Why couldn't it be like you have to find a stone first or something? No,
it just became such a language of video games. Punch the tree to get wood. Oh, okay. If you said that to me 10 years ago, I would have laughed first, and that would have been like, wait, what?
But
that's not how I get wood.
Ow! Like you should take damage.
Yeah, I know. They should do that. They should have it so like you take a little damage. Like,
how much do I want wood? Is it enough to kill my hand? Yes.
Is it worth this pain? But it's that type of thing, and it escalates, and then of course you're expanding your farm and doing things. But what sold me on this is that there's a town. There's a little town that you go into, and there are townspeople who have their lives and their jobs and their schedules. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for in that type of game. I want the farm. Cool, that's great. But I want the social aspect of it. I want to get to meet the quirky townspeople and stuff. I don't know if it just was because I was still so early in the game, but every single person I came up to, I went and I talked to them. It was like, "Hello, I'm Hank, the local carpenter." And your options are like,
Hi, Hank.
trade, or goodbye. It's just like, oh, well, I want to talk to Hank. But what is Hank? Who is Hank as a person? And it's just like, thank you for talking to me. Oh, okay, that was funny enough. And you leave. So I'm assuming that as you progress, more conversation opens up, because they certainly have it set up that you're conversing with these people, and I could imagine ultimately romancing people like a Stardew Valley, stuff like that. And there's these cool little things, like there's a little coffee shop here, and there's a, town park over here and stuff. So it looks like there's potential there, but I just haven't either played enough, or maybe it won't be that kind of game. I don't know yet. But it's
It'd be interesting to hear how it goes.
Yeah, it's something I'm going to play more of. It's really weird because there's monsters roaming the wilderness, but I went out to one and he's just like, bloop, 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 I am a monster, just blobbing along. So I don't know if maybe they're just non-combative or what. To be fair, I didn't try and throw a punch at it. But I was just like, I can't tell if this is like trying to be a peaceful game and it's like, oh, these are just creatures out in the woods, or if it's like, oh, you're going to have to go and hunt those things. Give me 29 Plorpidorf skins kind of stuff. Who knows? So I feel bad. I want to mention that I'm playing this game, but I haven't played nearly enough to like make it worth talking about. Could be interesting. Could be good. Could be great. But that's about all that I've been playing, really, besides more of Remember Me and Crush Crush. That's
Speaking
literally...
of incredible, our Figatua, the free game of the week, is now. The time is nigh. Tom, what is Gone Wandering?
Gone Wandering is not Gone Home, the spin-off. Gone Wandering is a short, simple, this is par for the course of everything else I've been talking about. Nice, colorful, peaceful little experience. This is a very small game. I don't even know if I could call it a game, an interactive butterfly catching simulator. You're a little cartoon witch in a little cartoon boat with your little cartoon witch cat controlling the boat, going along in the water, and you've got a butterfly net. And it's very cute. It's adorable. When the boat speeds up, she puts her hand on her hat to make sure it doesn't fly off. I love that. And you're catching butterflies. Normally I'd say, well, that was cute. That was a cute thing. But there's something about this game. There are 4 unique butterflies that are a challenge, and in like a Nintendo way, and like a Zelda way. And this is what caught me on this game, so to speak. This is what caught me in its net. So there's like clusters of butterflies, and there's a little counter keeping track of how many butterflies you've caught. So it's like, oh, look, there's a heap of yellow butterflies there. Boop, 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 boop. It wants you to play with the controller, so you're controlling your boat, and then as you come up, you'll press one of the R1 or L1 buttons, and you put your net out in either direction to catch the butterflies. And that's fun. That's fine. Just kind of a nice little Zen thing. But there are like these, in like a Shadow of the Colossus way, there are these like really notable landmarks. Like there was one that was a castle. There was one that was a lighthouse. There was one that was like a gladiator arena, all in the, in the water. I'm like, okay. So like I go towards the one that looks like an arena, and it's a haul to get there. It's a long time to get over there. And I go in, and it's like kind of going through this little path. I'm looking around, and I realize there's a green butterfly on top of a tree in the middle of the arena. I'm thinking, well, how do I must be able to catch that, right? There's a puzzle here. And I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a way. Again, it feels like a Nintendo game, or I think it's trying to be an N64 era game, like in its look and style. So I thought that was really cool. And there's 3 other butterflies besides the green one that are little mini puzzles to get. So this will just take you an hour to play. Depends on how good you are at that, or how much you want to just hang out in the world. But it's cute, it's sweet, it's fun, and the butterfly, the like special butterfly catching is really challenging. Like it's an actual, it's not hard, but it's something that'll be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Cool, okay. So that's called Gone Wandering, and that's on itch. And we, of course, will link that in the free game of the week section of our website, which is News.
AddictedToLoot.com, where you get access to everything when your earphones come out of the plug. I was like, why am I echoing all of a sudden? That was
I'm going to just gesture in this direction now.
It was way too creative an effect to be like, my voice is very majestic. AddictedToLoot.com, where you can find links to this podcast, this stream, as well as anything else Addicted to Loot like, including our group email, which is addictedtoloot@gmail.com. You can get links to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the audio versions of this podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Our group Twitter, which is @AddictedToLoot, that is the number 2. You can get our individual Twitters. Mine is @ATL_Atomic Zeros, and his is @TOMALITY. And of course,
follow the bouncing ball.
And of course, as always, we have been Addicted to Loot, and this has been episode 52 of the Addicted to Loot podcast. And until then,
keep it short and sweet.